Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a brand new edition of Zips Weekly with head football coach Joe Moorhead, brought to you as always by Bryant Heating and Cooling. Well, after a tough loss over at Ball State on Saturday, the Zips are right back on the road again this Saturday up at Buffalo. The Bulls right now are 3-0 in the Mid-American Conference. That'll be a 1 o'clock kickoff at UB Stadium. And don't forget, Maction begins then November 4th. UMass comes to town. Then Kent State arrives on November 11th. Both those are Tuesday night games at Infocision Stadium. Let's bring the coach into the conversation right now. Coach, you look at the final numbers on Saturday. We led in total yardage, first downs. We were 4 for 4 in the red zone, but boy, those explosive plays really killed us, especially in the second half.
They did. You got to give credit to Coach and his staff and players. They played a good game. And, as we talk every week, we want to look up in the fourth quarter and have an opportunity to win the game, and we did. Yeah. One score with about 6 minutes left, and we all know what transpired after that. But, yeah, we the performance indicators, statistics that determine the outcome of games, we were on the right side of a bunch of them. But at the end of the day, there were some situational football and plays that they made on the other side of the ball that ultimately led to our demise. Yeah,
the weather obviously played a big part of this football game with the delay in the second half. Coming out of that delay, Coach, you do you think had the advantage? We had them on the run down there, and they had a chance maybe to regroup a little bit in that timeout.
Yeah, we had the momentum right there, and I think if that ball gets snapped and we punched that thing in there and went back and kind of talked about what we wanted to run, and they lined up in the defense that we were expecting, and we ran the play we wanted to run. Unfortunately, they knocked us back at the guard and tight end position, and it still was a touchdown game at that point. But I think the psychological impact of scoring a touch in there and getting it within 3 affected us. But we had the thing heading in our direction, and unfortunately, Mother Nature called, and we had to answer the phone.
How many times have you been in games that got delayed because of the wind or the rain or the lightning? It came right over the press box toward you. I could see that shelf of that weather coming. You probably saw it before anybody.
Yeah, three, and unfortunately 0 for 3. 2017, Penn State, Michigan State was a 3.5-hour delay last year at Western Michigan, and now this is the third one.
Exactly. Well, right now let's go back to Muncie, Indiana, pick up action as the Zips take on the Ball State Cardinals. The Zips are going to win the coin toss, and they're going to defer to the second half. And Coach, you couldn't have asked for a better start. Boy, the offense and defense both come up with big plays early in the game.
Great kick through the end zone. We come out, 3 and out. Big fourth down stop by Gage Summers, and create some field position for the offense.
Now you come out in the no huddle, and Ben Finley hits Israel Polk, I think, for 10 quick yards, and then you're going to hit him again for 19 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, you see the big stop there by Gage on 4th and short. Create some field position for the offense. And then, as you mentioned, a couple of quick throws, right? Take advantage of access to the field. Good job by Polk, he was our leading receiver. And then catch him in a 3rd down, man-to-man coverage. Polk shakes his guy, kick good protection, and Zips up 8-0 with a 2-point conversion.
Boy, great pass, good route by Israel Polk. Now you surprised everybody. You go for 2 early in the game.
Yeah, we've been working on this for a few weeks. Come out and see how they line up. Michael Johnson in there, as we know, to do some different things. And, really a heck of a catch by Wisner there.
That's the second week in a row that he's got a pass in the end zone. But once again, the defense come out. They're going to play well after leading 8-0, but their quarterback was really a problem, especially in that first half.
Yeah, the 2 guys we talked about being game wreckers and not allowing them to wreck the game was the quarterback and 44, the defensive end. We felt like the quarterback couldn't beat us with his arms, but certainly could with his legs. Held him to about 50% passing, but the ones he did complete were explosive, and certainly the plays he made from scrambling or called runs or improvisation were pretty impressive.
So Cyrus Durham with a sack at that point, but I think we did a much better job on him in the second half, Coach. I'm not sure if we played his defense or just maybe did a better job with him.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was gap control and doing a good job with eyes. And they say when you're rushing the passer, the worst seat is behind the quarterback. So a couple times we ended up getting behind the quarterback and lost our contain and let him get out there. But I think we did a much better job compressing the width and depth of the pocket in the second half and not giving him any vertical rush lanes.
I think with the sack there, and as you can see right now, Akron took that 8-0 lead. Ball State has bounced back with 2 touchdowns, and they're leading right now 14-8. early in the second quarter.
Yeah, good job there getting the sack and the strip sack, or the fumble. The recovery, unfortunately, we weren't able to do anything with it offensively, and got it back in there.
That was Marcus Boswell that got to him, and I think Bobbin-Shear again recovered that fumble we just looked at.
Yeah, 4 sacks on the day. You know, a lot of their empty packages you see here was quarterback design runs with RPOs, and for the most part, we did a pretty good job defending that.
I think later on, Ball State's going to try a 54-yard field goal that hits the upright. So the game is going to remain at 14-8.
Yeah, then huge drive for us, backed up at the 4-yard line and methodically moved down the field and capitalized on the big Finley to Mason, post route.
Yeah, Ben Finley, I think on that possession, on that drive, he was 4 out of 5. He hit Miles Walker, Kyan Mason, Marcel Williams, all big plays going down the field.
Yeah, outside of those last 2 drives, I thought Ben played a really nice game. 291 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Those 2 unfortunate picks at the end, one where all 3 receivers ran the wrong route, and then another one where there was a miscommunication on the crosser, kind of put a little bit of a tarnish on a really good day. But this drive was impressive, 96 yards, and getting the Zips back up on top heading into halftime.
Yeah, this is a 37-yard pass from Finley to Kyan Mason, kind of twists and turns in the back of the end zone. Coach makes a great catch.
Yeah, we're really excited about Kyan, a guy that we knew as a first-year starter was going to be able to make some plays, and continues to improve on a weekly basis, and got to keep working to find ways to get him the ball.
I see it again, but that's a great adjustment to dive and catch that one before it hit the turf. Then I think he ran about knocked down one of the offensive linemen. He was so excited.
Looked like 3rd and short, but he's a huge energy guy and gets excited, and he should. We want our guys to celebrate their success.
Yeah, I've never met him, but he seems like a young kid. He's fun to be around.
No, he is. A great personality, a lot of energy, and like I said, I'm glad to see him having some success this year.
Well, Matt Schramm had the PAT after that, and all of a sudden, the Zips are right back out in front, 15-14.
Yeah, got a nice little drive here with some time on the clock. We felt like we were trying to get down into field goal range, and unfortunately, we had a scramble that got knocked back because of a hold, and decided discretion was a better part of valor there to get it into the half still up and not risk doing something stupid.
Yeah, I think you got it back, with 32 seconds left?
Yeah.
And I'm talking in the press box. You get a couple of big plays. Who knows what's going to happen?
We did, and we were on pace. I think we're right up there near the 50, and then once that penalty got us knocked back, we were like, all right, let's just take this thing to the half.
Exactly. As we said, we're at halftime from Muncie. Ball State against Zips. Akron leading right now 15-14. We're going to take a break. Come back and watch second half highlights. You talk about a lot of things happening in the second half. We'll watch them right after this.
Inspired design. Ultra quiet operation. To you, it's a Bryant Evolution cooling system. To us, it's the ultimate machine.
All set.
For the dealer nearest you, visit Bryant.com.
The amount of experience you can gain from the University of Akron can't be overstated, whether it's designing components, manufacturing parts, and then actually just going and testing and driving a race car. How many people get to say they do that in college,
I've had amazing opportunities here at the University of Akron. I feel surrounded by love, by support. I know that I can be successful here, and that was always my goal. So I know that the people here are here to help me.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Weekly with head football coach Joe Moorhead. We're ready to watch second half highlights from Akron's game over at Ball State on Saturday. Akron leading right now 15-14, and we're going to get the second half kickoff, coach, and this series coming up is really going to be key, I think, in determining this football game.
Yeah, it was. There was, made some adjustments to our RPO game and was able to get some, a couple handoffs and a couple throws there. And as you mentioned, drive down the field right there. And
it's 27 yards by Jordan Gant.
Yeah, so it was good to see Jordan bust back out again after that Miami game. And and I'll let you lead into it. But yeah, it was certainly a sequence of plays that was a little bit unique.
Yeah, we go for it, I think, on 4th and 1. From watching the press box, coach, we didn't see it. It looked like he slipped there and tried to make a cut and went down.
He did. We had 2 inside zone plays called. The first one was actually blocked up, and we didn't get off on the combination to the mic, and then the 4th down play he slipped.
Early on in the third quarter, Akron still up We're down now 21-15. What happened after that play, Coach? Then they ran it 69 yards for a touchdown, and that was the back break. Right?
Yeah, they did. And the running back, I think he averaged 7.9 yards a carry, and ran an outside zone. We lost contain and missed a tackle, and unfortunately it resulted in a touchdown for the Cardinals.
Zips are going to come back, though, down 21-15 in the second half. Running hard again, and now we're having a field goal by the young freshman, Matt Schramm.
Yeah, made the move, and Schramm came out, went 2 for 2, and made his PAT, so it's a positive day there.
Another big play down the field, and the Zips are right back at it against Ball State.
Yeah, down 10, knew we had to move the ball. Good to get Sean Patrick back again healthy, and then kind of the emergence of Tim Greer making some plays, and like I said, going back and forth in a pretty competitive, Mid-American Conference game here.
We talked about the weather, Coach. How much of a factor was that wind maybe going into the fourth quarter?
Not as much as I anticipated. Really didn't affect us throwing the ball. The biggest impact was in the kicking game. When you had to win, you're going to kick it in the end zone. When you're against it, then you're going to fight it.
Here's DeMarco Johnson with that interception as Zips try and bounce back out of the receiver's hands, and he is right there to pick it off, and that was big.
Yeah, 2 turnovers for the defense, the fumble recovery and the pick, so that was, a good day creating, like I said, possessions and field position for the offense.
Yeah, Ben Finley's going to scramble, I think, for 21 yards and a first down. He took off quickly, nothing open, and he just takes off.
Yeah, it was good there. Made a little extra man miss, and gets us down into the red zone.
Here he comes again, and this time he slides. Last week he kind of went head first.
Yeah. I think after he got that late hit and pushed into the bench, I think he just decided that he was going to go feet first.
Pass down the field, and
yeah, we would run that swing screen off that action a couple times and got him to bite on the play action. Got it to Connor, RPO, and hit Polk for the second touchdown of the day.
yeah, 4 yards to Israel Polk. And suddenly it is a close football game. Watch that again as he broke open right in the back of the end zone. Matt Schramm again comes in for the PAT, and it's 28-25 with a long way to go. In fact, the whole fourth quarter to go.
Yeah, and that was kind of the frustrating aspect of it, that we kept clawing, fighting and scratching, and we would get momentum back, and then unfortunately on defense we gave up a couple. Well, the defense was scoring, the special teams scored to kind of lose that momentum.
Defense again trying to keep them out of the end zone. They struggle here, Coach. They finally get it in, and that was a big one.
That was a big one. Put us back to a 10-point game, and then we're going to march right back down the field and get in the scoring position.
This is going to be just before the weather delays. We're really playing good football at this point. Sean Patrick is going to take it for big yardage. Watch that same play.
Yeah, kind of got the run game greased up a little bit on this drive. They started playing a little bit of, pre-drop to Tampa with a light box, and you have favorable numbers in there, so we were able to, get some runs out there, and I said, move the ball down the field and get down into the tight red zone.
Zips down 35-25, but coming right back on a scramble by Finley down inside the 5 to the 4. We've got to settle for a field goal, Coach. Coming out of that lightning delay, we tried to run it one time, then he decided to go with the field goal, which we kick it. We're still in the football game.
Yeah, the thought process there was there's 6 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
You're going to need 2 scores regardless, so didn't want to risk going for it on 4th, even though they would have a long way to go. But at that point, you don't have points on the board, so he said, let's get it within a score, kick it off, and then unfortunately we saw the result of not being able to cover kicks for on tackle.
Yeah, unfortunately, after we kicked that field goal, they run a kickback, and mentally that has to take a toll on you if that happens.
Yeah, you don't want it to. I think our kids tried their best to respond to unexpected adversity, but at the end of the day, there's the natural reaction to that. But as you can see, we got a 3 and out. We got the ball back, and we actually started moving the ball to try to get back within a score, and had a couple routes that we ran wrong, and a couple turnovers, and we weren't able to get back into it.
Yeah, we talked about the numbers, Coach. More yardage, 4 for 4 in the red zone. That was a big plus from last week.
Yeah, it was positive. The only drawback was when we talk about red zone, we talk about red zone touchdowns.
Yeah.
So they were 2 for 2 with both touchdowns. We were 2 for 4. half touchdowns, half field goals in a game that you know is going to be close. Those extra 8 points make a difference.
Yeah. Tough loss for the Zips. As we said, they're up to Buffalo on Saturday. We'll talk more about that later. Right now, we're going to take a break and talk about some individual players and their performance Saturday against Ball State. We'll be right back.
Inspired design. Ultra quiet operation. To you, it's a Bryant Evolution cooling system. To us, it's the ultimate machine.
All set.
For the dealer nearest you, visit Bryant.com.
The amount of experience you can gain from the University of Akron can't be overstated, whether it's designing components, manufacturing parts, and then actually just going and testing and driving a race car. How many people get to say they do that in college, you know?
I've had amazing opportunities here at the University of Akron. I feel surrounded by love, by support. I know that I can be successful here, and that was always my goal. So I know that the people here are here to help me.
Well, despite the tough loss at Ball State on Saturday, there were a number of great individual performances. Coach, let's start with Ben Finley. You said during the first and second quarter highlights, you thought he played pretty well on Saturday.
I did. Ended up being right above 50%, but
Yeah.
291 yards passing, a bunch of big third down conversions, I should say, a bunch of big explosive plays. We needed to be better on third down. And 3 touchdowns, right? Two turnovers at the end, but I thought, he did his job and gave us an opportunity to win a football game.
Let's talk about some of your wide receivers who had a big game. Israel Polk had 5 catches for 72 yards and 2 Ds. After he transferred from Pitt, boy, he's really coming on his own this year.
He is, and we knew he was young coming in, and last year kind of got his feet wet and made some plays, but anticipated a much larger role for him this season. And as he's getting more opportunities, making more plays, I think he's at 5 touchdowns for the year. So, a lot of eligibility for the young man, and a lot of football left to be played this year.
We mentioned Kyan Mason made that great twisting catch in the end zone. Redshirt freshman from up in Cleveland. He had 4 catches for 53 yards. And how much better can he get, Coach? He's just tapping maybe his potential right now?
Yeah, it's exciting. And, as we went through the recruiting process, and, he had a bunch of offers early on, coming out of Edge. And obviously size was a consideration for the Power 4 schools, but we said at the Mid-American Conference level, this is a guy that can get matched on safeties and linebackers and separate and make plays. And saw a little bit of that last year. I think he caught his first touchdown pass against Buffalo, and we knew through spring ball and fall camp he was a guy that was going to do some really nice things for us.
We saw a brand new wide receiver. Tim Greer came off the bench, Coach, and he made 5 catches for 87 yards. Where's he? Has he been injured or just maybe got a shot now?
He did. He was playing behind Marcel and Cam Montero. So Cam got banged up a little bit in the game and couldn't play. And Marcel was, really about, coming off an injury as well. So it gave more opportunities for Tim. And ironically, Tim was a guy that was hampered by injuries in spring ball and fall camp. So I think he's getting back to fully healthy, starting to understand the system better. And had the ball go his way and made some plays.
Both your tight ends, I thought, played pretty well too. Connor Kravac and, of course, Max Wisno. Those guys are giving you pretty good minutes.
Yeah, with Jake Noel out, Connor had to step up, and Jake gave us some snaps on the goal line and on the 2-point conversion. But yeah, the tight end is a critical component of our offense in the run game and pass game, and we just got to continue to find ways to scheme up passes where we can get the tight end against some zone coverage and let him navigate. And Connor's done a nice job.
In the past, Coach, you've talked very highly of defensive tackle Julian Laventure. Came over from a little lower level, playing college football in Western PA. He had 9 tackles, 1 sack, 2 recovered a fumble. He did a lot of good things. And here, maybe we can stop. There's a lot of guys probably playing at lower levels that after they get the experience can play at the Mid-American Conference, and just got to find them, I guess.
Yeah, you do, and that PSAC conference is a real deal. I mean, you look at Division II every single year, Slippery Rock, IUP. I mean, teams are going to compete for the national championship, and hey, recruiting is an inexact science. So we make our evaluations, and kids ends up at lower levels of football, whether it be FCS or Division II or III, and now with the transfer portal. Those kids who do well get opportunities to step up, and Julian's one of those guys who's taking advantage.
Exactly. Talk about Shimon Cooper, because he's a kid that came out from Illinois a couple of years ago. He had 6 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and right now he's one of your better defensive players.
He is, obviously, with Brian McCoy and Fish's departure to the portal. We knew that Gage and Shimon needed to step up. A wealth of experience for him, playing, like I said, into his 7th year, and has really been a steadying influence on our defense from a maturity standpoint, a leadership standpoint, and continues to be productive.
Matt Schramm, young kid from down in the Columbus area, now has established himself as the field goal and extra points guy. And for a young guy, he's coming on under pressure and getting the job done.
He is, and like I said, it's been a competition every week till we get it figured out, and it's a very encouraging feeling to know that you cross a certain point or yard line into the red zone, and you're going to get 3 on the board. So he had 2 nice opportunities and was able to get us 6 points.
Very scary moment in this game, Coach. Our defensive back, Justin Anderson, went down. Unfortunately, had to bring the ambulance on the field and get him off. And what might be an update on him, and how tough was that to take a look at that?
Yeah, anytime you see a kid go down and they bring an ambulance out and you put him on a backboard, as a parent with sons who played and a coach, you worry about them because they're like your own kids. But the good news was the MRI was clean. He had full feeling and movement in all of his extremities, and was back to Akron that night, and just dealing with an upper body injury right now. So we're happy for Justin that it turned out okay.
Exactly, that's good news. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the UB Bulls, as they are now the opponent on Saturday, 1 o'clock kickoff up in Buffalo. We're right back.
Inspired design. Ultra quiet operation. To you, it's a Bryant Evolution cooling system. To us, it's the ultimate machine.
All set.
For the dealer nearest you, visit Bryant.com.
The amount of experience you can gain from the University of Akron can't be overstated, whether it's designing components, manufacturing parts, and then actually just going and testing and driving a race car. How many people get to say they do that in college,
I've had amazing opportunities here at the University of Akron. I feel surrounded by love, by support. I know that I can be successful here, and that was always my goal. So I know that the people here are here to help me.
Well, as you've already mentioned, the Zips are right back on the road on Saturday, a 1 o'clock kickoff up in Buffalo to take on UB, who right now, Coach, they are 3-0 in the Mid-American Conference under second-year coach Pete Lembo.
Yeah, Coach Lembo, great guy. Has done it at all levels, going back to Lehigh and then a stint in the Mid-American Conference and, Division I, Power 4 assistant job. So Coach, a very well-resourced program. Coach is doing an awesome job. And like you said, 3-0, top of the standings, and it's been a close game all three times we played them. So we got to figure out a way to get over the hump.
They came from behind on Saturday over at UMass to win that football game 28-21. I think they outscored UMass 8-0 in the second half to come from behind and win it.
Yeah, very unique sequence at the end of the game. They threw a pick with 59 seconds left. And I believe UMass tried to throw it on 3rd and 14, stopped the clock.
That's right.
Gave the ball back to Buffalo, and then Taquan threw a touchdown pass there at the end. So, and they've done that twice. Beat Eastern Michigan in overtime, and had another late game surge to win it. So they've done a really nice job in the fourth quarter.
Their quarterback is someone you're very familiar with.
Yeah, Taquan, signed Taquan out of DePaul Catholic to Penn State, and he's just a wonderful young man, great family. Had a stint at UConn and ended up at Buffalo. And actually, their offensive coordinator Dave Patnode was a wide receivers coach at Fordham when I was a player there. And Dave's had a nice career and does a good job with the scheme. Victor Snow, the wide receiver, and then on the other side of the ball, the Murdoch kid is one of the best players in the entire country, not just the Mid-American Conference.
He'd have to ice down his arm, Coach. He threw it 55 times against UMass, 36 for 55, 403 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know him. Is he that good a passer?
He is, and he can beat you with his feet too, but the big part is he's smart and can beat you with his brain as well, high football IQ. Heck, if he was a major league pitcher, they'd have pulled him after the third quarter. Too high of a pitch count.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be a heck of a game. Quick reminder before we sign off, Maction comes back to InfoCision Stadium after the UB game. Akron will be home against 2 opponents, UMass on the 4th of November, then Kent State on the 11th. And Coach, we'll talk more about that next week. Best of luck at Buffalo. For head coach I am Joe Dunn. We'll see you back here next week with more Zips Weekly, and as always, go Zips.
Inspired design. Ultra quiet operation. To you, it's a Bryant Evolution cooling system. To us, it's the ultimate machine.
All set.
For the dealer nearest you, visit Bryant.com.
The amount of experience you can gain from the University of Akron can't be overstated, whether it's designing components, manufacturing parts, and then actually just going and testing and driving a race car. How many people get to say they do that in college, you know?
I've had amazing opportunities here at the University of Akron. I feel surrounded by love, by support. I know that I can be successful here, and that was always my goal. So I know that the people here are here to help me.